Drop Top Tees, and today we are going to talk about how to check to see if your vehicle, or maybe a vehicle you're interested in buying, is subject to any safety recalls, what kind of consumer complaints have been made against it, and a couple other things that are just nice to know information. So why would you want to do this? Number one, if you're the original owner of the vehicle and there is a safety recall, chances are you've received that in the mail. Manufacturers will send out recall notices multiple times. However, it is possible that the mail didn't get delivered to your house that day, or the letter got lost, you didn't see the initial recall. Sometimes these are very important safety things, so it's good to know. I would say once or twice a year, just do this and check and see. If you are a owner of a used car, it is entirely conceivable that a safety recall was issued several years ago, and that owner just ignored it, never got the corrective action taken. So you can look and see what recalls have been issued against your vehicle and see if the repairs have been done. Another primary reason you might want to do it is if you are considering buying a car. A lot of people know to go get a Carfax on that particular car, or they check in owners groups online to see what kind of issues those particular vehicles are having. But going and checking out to see if there are any recalls on the car and seeing what complaints have been lodged with the government is another great way of checking out the car that you're interested in buying. So let's go inside and see how you do this. It's a very simple process. It takes you 5 minutes at most. Okay, so to get to the recall search, you have to go to www.nhtsa.gov/recalls. This is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So once we get here, this is the way the screen's going to look. If you know the VIN of your car, it's your personal car, or you are already checking out a specific vehicle to buy and you know what the VIN is, use the VIN. Why do you want to do the VIN? The VIN's preferable over just the general car make and year, because of the fact that sometimes recalls specifically only apply to a part of a production year. Like I know in our case, in one of the production years for one of the cars we own, there was a recall for something that only applied to half the model year. And so this will give you information that is car specific. Great if you own the car already. However, if you're just trying to check out, like say you want to buy for whatever reason, a 2014 Ford Mustang GT, and you don't have a specific car in mind, you want that model, but you don't know which one yet, then you come over here to vehicle, and I'm going to do this search for my vehicle, and 2018 make or year, manufacturer, and model. Do the search, scroll down, and it will show you a variety, basically four different things. It shows you how many recalls have been issued over the course of the life of these vehicles. It will show you if there's been any investigations. It will show you complaints. Complaints are initiated by consumers. And then it will show you manufacturer communications. These first three are going to be mostly about safety related issues. So it'll give you the safety side of the vehicle's history. It won't necessarily tell you about maybe a water pump that fails. That's not going to be safety related. However, manufacturer communications, let me just read the general guidance on this. This is from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration themselves. Manufacturers should submit all notices. Hey, it's a scam caller. Probably about my vehicle's extended warranty. I wonder if they've looked this up. Manufacturers should submit all notices, bulletins, and other communications, including warranty and policy extensions and product improvement communications, sent to dealers, distributors, owners, purchasers, lessors, and lessees regarding any defect, failure, or malfunction beyond normal deterioration in use, failure of performance, flaw, or other unintended deviation from design specifications, whether it is safety related or not. So here is a great repository of information on your particular vehicle or a model in general as to what the manufacturers know are items of concern. Doesn't matter whether it's safety related or not. So this is just an outstanding way to find out what problems these particular cars have had. Obviously, if you have a car that has hundreds of these, they aren't anywhere near as reliable as a car that only has 10, 15, or 20. And the other things you have to consider there is how old is the car? You know, the more years you're looking back, the more they're going to be, because there's been more time for defects to become known. So as an overall general indicator, seeing these numbers and reading them, and we'll go into it in just a second, I'll show you how you can use this information a little bit better, can really give you a good understanding of how reliable the car that you're looking to purchase is. So let's break these down. And I called up my car just to see how many recalls. You'll see that in the 4 years it's been out, it hasn't had any recalls. It hasn't had any investigations. It hasn't even had one complaint a year, and it only has 15 communications. So from an owner perspective, I'm happy, man. This car is reliable. It's something I tell people all the time when we talk on the car forums. People wanting to know how reliable is a Spider, because they hear Fiat and they think, oh no, it's like the old adage of fix it again, Tony. Is like, it doesn't apply anymore. These cars are extremely reliable. There's a couple of known things, and I know if I look at this, I already know a couple of the complaints are going to be about seatbelts not retracting as they get older. They don't retract all the way. It's fixable under warranty, and it's never required further action. But let's go back and look at maybe something that does have, we'll just leave it at 2018. Let's look at a Dodge Charger. I'm just thinking they might have more to look at here. Aha. 5 recalls, 1 investigation, 86 complaints, 91 communications. So we'll go through these one by one and show you exactly what each of these things, what they contain. So we'll click on the 5, and it shows you just a general title for the recalls, and it gives you just a generic spiel on what they are. Let's look at this. Cruise control cannot be canceled. If the vehicle maintains its speed or accelerates despite attempts to deactivate the cruise control, there would be an increased risk of a crash. That seems pretty obvious. If you can't get the car to slow down, you just might wreck. So we'll click on the plus and expand it. It gives you a lot more information. It'll tell you the campaign number, basically the recall number, and what it affects, potential number of units affected. But here in the summary, it will these vehicles are being recalled to address a defect that could prevent the cruise control system from disengaging. If, when using cruise control, there is a short circuit within the vehicle's wiring, the driver may not be able to shut off the cruise control either by depressing the brake pedal or manually turning the system off once it has been engaged, resulting in either the vehicle maintaining its current speed or possibly accelerating. Now that's even scarier. I can't turn it off and it wants to go faster on its own. Well, that seriously sucks. And then it tells you what the remedy is, that Chrysler is going to notify everybody, have the dealers inspect the software and perform a software flash to take care of the problem. It tells you the recall began June 4th, 2018. It gives you a contact number for Chrysler if you want to check on it and see maybe if your vehicle's had that repair done already. Say you bought the vehicle used, you can call them, give them the VIN. They'll be able to tell you if that repair's already been made. And then, this is kind of like
like a lot of warnings on boxes. Do we really need this? Like, just cut this out and reduce the bad apples in the gene pool. Owners are advised to stop using cruise control until the software update has been performed. To me, this is a huge no-duh. It's like, if my car may not slow down and may even accelerate and I can't stop it, I don't think I'm going to use cruise control. I don't care if you recommend that or not. I'm not doing it. But the last thing is what to do if that actually happens to your car. In the event that cruise control cannot be disengaged while driving, owners should firmly and steadily apply the brakes, shift the transmission into neutral, and then once it's stopped, place the vehicle in park. So it gives you an emergency remedy, emergency actions to take if that happens while you're driving down the road. Now, if there is an emergency action, it tells you what it is. In some recall issues, there is no emergency action to take. It's just, there's no workaround. It's just, if this happens, you're screwed, so go get it fixed right away. But if they do have an emergency workaround, they will include that, which is also a nice thing to know if this is a car you already own. And then it gives you contact information for the NHTSA. And it will also tell you under the 66 affected products, because a lot of times components are used in multiple vehicles, it lists all the various vehicles this recall applies to. So that's nice to know, but when you're checking out your own vehicle or a car that you want to buy, it's like it's there, but it doesn't provide really any more useful information. So all of these are going to have a similar type thing. They'll tell you what the problem is. They'll tell you what the fix is. In most cases, take it to the manufacturer. They'll fix it. It will tell you, if known, what to do in case the problem occurs while you're operating your vehicle. And then let me go reset this and we'll look at the next thing. And I wish I knew a way around going back out and re-entering the name to get to the next category, but I can't figure out how to do that on the site. So it's pretty much what you expect from government. Great information, not always the easiest to get to. Investigations. Investigations are kind of like a preliminary thing to a recall. If customers make complaints that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration deems worthy enough, there's enough of a risk of accident, injury, or death, they will open an investigation into the issue, and they will actually go inspect the car that prompted the complaint to be made, and they will look at what they call peer vehicles, other vehicles that haven't had complaints on them, but they're the similar year, model, and make of the vehicle, to see if they can, to try to determine how widespread the issue really is. And if they deem that it's a high enough risk, they will contact the manufacturer. Manufacturers many times will issue a voluntary recall before the investigation is completed, because they want to, it looks good if the manufacturer says, hey, we know there's an issue, let's take care of it. If it's something that's serious and the manufacturer drags their feet, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration can issue a mandatory recall, which the end result is the same, the repair gets fixed, but it looks a lot worse for the manufacturer to have the government step in and say, hey guys, go get this done, because it's a safety issue. It's much better for the manufacturer to do voluntary recalls. It makes them look like they're more caring, okay? But nonetheless, sometimes the manufacturer doesn't want to admit there's a problem, and so the government forces their hand. The investigations can take usually 4 to a few more months. In the case of this Charger, it tells you it's a airbag inflator rupture issue. It's an open investigation, so they haven't made a determination yet. It tells you when it started to when it closed, or in this case, it's still ongoing. They explain what the problem is, and it says they opened the investigation to examine a safety defect related to propellant degradation that exists in frontal inflators. It's going to require more extensive information, and they'll make a determination in the future whether a remedy is going to be required. So again, if you're thinking about buying a vehicle, that's good to know. If you already have a vehicle, it's kind of nice to know that this is going on and it may become an issue in the future. So let's go look at the next thing, which is going to be consumer complaints. And here we go. Now, complaints are totally customer initiated, so they can get real kind of random. You never know what somebody's going to be upset enough about to complain to the government. And you'll see right up here at the top of the screen, let me scroll up here, right up here, report a safety problem. There's supposed to be safety, but you never know. Again, it's whatever somebody's feeling bad about that day. In this case, there's 18 pages of about 4 or 5. And let's just flip to the next page or so and just randomly pick one. Okay, how about this one? Component structure. Let's see what this is. Tells you where it came from, the VIN number of the vehicle involved. The contact owns a 2018 Dodge Charger. The contact stated the interior door panels on each door were not secured and had detached from the door frame. The failure on the driver's side door panel created a visual obstruction when the driver looked over his shoulder or the shoulder to view oncoming vehicles. The cause of failure was not determined. The local dealer and manufacturer were contacted, but no assistance was offered. Failure mileage was approximately 55,000. And over here on the left, it will tell you, was a crash involved? Did it result in a fire, injury, or death? So people send these in on whatever they think the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration may care about, and then the NHTSA makes determinations on whether they want to open an investigation or not, based on how many similar complaints they've had, whether there's been crashes, fires, injuries, and death involved. Obviously, if it's causing problems that result in crashes and fires and injuries and death, it's going to receive a higher priority and gain more notice than issues that aren't causing anything like this. So if they decide that there's a risk involved, they open up an investigation, they go inspect the car, they go look at other cars, they talk to the manufacturers and decide whether there's a recall or not. So this is another good thing to look at. And the other kind of thing that's cool is, if you notice, they included the mileage at which the problem appeared. So if you're looking at a vehicle that you're thinking about buying and you notice that, well, the car is like 3 years old and around 80 to 100,000 miles, there's been a whole bunch of people complain about this one particular thing going on. The car you're buying is 60,000 miles. You can buy it thinking, in another 20,000 miles, I got to kind of start worrying about this maybe going on. So just another good piece of information that you can pick up by coming here. And finally, the last thing is manufacturers' communications. I think out of all of it, especially if you're looking at buying a car, this is really just a general wealth of information. It's a gold mine of information because of the fact it includes non-safety related items. And it is required, reporting is required of the manufacturers. So if they issue any kind of service bulletin or they send out a letter to owners saying, hey, we're aware of this, they have to also report it here. So if you're looking at potentially buying a vehicle, come here and see what problems the manufacturer is aware of. And let's look at what these are. And this one has 19 pages. Okay, let's just flip a couple pages so it's totally random. We'll do this engine and engine cooling. Associated document, PDF file. Okay. If after inspection there is any puddling of engine oil found in the engine valley area, check for leakage around the oil filter adapter cooler. And it goes on to explain, this one's obviously going out to their service people to say, here's a problem that's shown up and here's what to look for and how to fix it. Okay? And like I said, these are almost as random as the as the consumer complaints, except we know that these are issues the manufacturers themselves recognize. So again, this is important if you're considering buying a car. If you recently purchased a car and want to find out, hey, I've already made the decision to buy it and done it, what might I be looking at in the future? What are some issues I may expect? This manufacturer's communications is a great wealth of information in that regard. So whether you own your car and you're just trying to check out whether there's recalls, or maybe trying to look ahead and seeing what issues may come up in the future, what if other owners experienced, what does the manufacturer know are problems with the car, or you're looking to buy a car and you want to look a little bit more in depth than just the maintenance history and accident history on the vehicle you're interested in buying, go to www.nhtsa.gov/recalls, punch in either the VIN of the vehicle you're interested in or just the year, make, and model, and you access this great source of information to help your research and information gathering along. If you like the video, thumbs up, hit subscribe. Maybe it's the other way, I don't know, because the camera's reversed. And hey, I'll see you next time. Have a good day, y'all.